Have you ever wondered how your favorite brands seem to know exactly what you want? Almost like before you do. Or maybe you're running a business and you're scratching your head, wondering why that great new product isn't quite hitting the mark. How do companies really get inside the heads of their customers and decode the market? Today, we're going on a deep dive into exactly that. We're exploring the fascinating world of marketing research and information systems. We'll unpack the systematic process behind understanding what makes consumers tick. From figuring out hidden desires to using all the latest tech that's shaping business decisions. Our mission to show you how speed, agility, and just getting the right insights are now absolutely essential for any business to thrive in today's economy. So let's start at the very foundation. When a company wants to know why something isn't selling or what the next big thing might be, they turn to marketing research. At its core, it's about systematically designing, collecting, interpreting, and then reporting information. It's all aimed at helping marketers solve specific problems or maybe jump on new opportunities. It's this sort of disciplined way of finding insights that aren't immediately obvious.
Right. And what's truly critical here is understanding its fundamental purpose. It's really about informing the organization about what customers need, what they want, and identifying marketing opportunities, tracking how attitudes and buying patterns are changing over time. The real value you see is measured by improvements in a marketer's ability to actually make decisions, better decisions. It's always this balancing act, weighing the cost of getting that information against the benefits you expect to get from it.
So it's like a business becoming a kind of master detective, gathering clues to understand its audience better. And speaking of clues, there are two fundamental types of data they work with.
Exactly. First up, you have qualitative data. Now, this gives you descriptive, non-numerical information. It's less about the how many and more about the why. It's the story, the context, the feelings. It can really uncover assumptions you didn't even know you had.
Like maybe people like the idea of something, but they have concerns you hadn't thought of.
Precisely. Maybe the messaging is off, or there's a hidden barrier.
Okay, and then the other type.
That's quantitative data. This is the empirical stuff, the information you can communicate through numbers.
So sales figures, website clicks, survey results with ratings.
Exactly. Measurable facts and figures. This helps you confirm or, well, quantify the insights you might have gotten from the qualitative side. You really need both.
That makes sense. So once a company knows what kind of data they're after, they usually choose between two main research approaches, right? Like different tools for different jobs.
Precisely. The first is exploratory research. This is what you use when you need more information about a problem, or maybe you have a hunch, a tentative hypothesis, and you want to make it more specific. It's often linked with those qualitative techniques we just mentioned. The goal is more about uncovering issues broadly, rather than getting hard numbers just yet.
So finding out what the potential problems or opportunities even are.
Yes, exactly. Discovering things you hadn't considered.
And how do they do that? What are the methods?
Well, one interesting approach is using customer advisory boards. Imagine getting a small group of your actual loyal customers together. They offer insights into their feelings, their attitudes towards your product, your ads, your pricing, everything.
Wow, like a direct line to passionate users, continuous feedback.
It can be incredibly valuable. Another common method, especially for exploring ideas, is focus groups. You bring several people together, maybe 8 to 12, with a moderator to discuss a specific topic informally.
Right, I've heard of those. What are the benefits there?
Well, you get to observe group dynamics, see how ideas bounce off each other. It allows you to explore attitudes, behaviors, lifestyles, needs, all in a pretty flexible and creative way. They can spark ideas for new products or give you that initial gut check on a potential strategy.
And I guess now you can do these online too.
Oh, absolutely. Online focus groups are a big trend. Participants log into a website, type comments. It's great for gathering data from large, geographically diverse groups efficiently.
But I imagine there are downsides too, like maybe people aren't totally honest in a group.
That's a key limitation. Yeah, personality clashes can happen, or people might just say what they think the moderator wants to hear. It can be tough to motivate really honest feedback sometimes. So focus groups are often best used to kind of uncover potential issues, which you can then dig into deeper with more quantifiable methods.
Okay, which leads us perfectly into the second big research bucket, conclusive research.
Right. Conclusive research is all about verifying those insights. You use an objective procedure to help marketers make specific decisions. This is where you move from, we think this might be the issue, to, okay, we have evidence, let's decide what to do. It helps when you have alternatives and need to choose the best path.
And there are different types of conclusive research.
Yes, two main ones. First, there's descriptive research. This helps you understand the characteristics of a certain phenomenon to solve a particular problem. Think general surveys about customer demographics, age, education, income, or how they actually use a product.
So painting a detailed picture of the situation or the customer.
Exactly. It generally requires that you already have a pretty good understanding of the problem and it's clearly defined.
And the second type.
That's experimental research. This is powerful because it allows marketers to make causal deductions, about relationships between things.
Cause and effect?
Precisely. You manipulate an independent variable, say the price or the ad message, and measure the change in a dependent variable, like sales or brand awareness.
Ah, so like A/B testing an ad campaign.
That's a perfect example. Experimental research provides much stronger evidence of cause and effect than descriptive research.
Okay, this is great. We've got the types of data, the main approaches.
Yeah.
But how does it all actually happen? You mentioned it's a systematic process.
Yes, absolutely. It's not just random guessing. Marketing research follows logical steps to ensure control and hopefully accurate information. It's not rigid like a set of rules carved in stone, but it's a solid overall approach.
So walk us through it. What's step one?
Step 1. Locating and defining problems or research issues. This sounds obvious, but it's crucial, and often the hardest part. You need to uncover the real nature and boundaries of the situation or question. It means digging beneath the surface symptoms. If sales are down, why? Is it price, competition, the product itself? You need to know precisely what information is needed and how it's going to be used.
So defining the right question before you start looking for answers.
Exactly. Get this wrong, and the rest of the research might be useless.
Okay, makes sense. What's next?
Step 2. Designing the research project. Once the problem is clear, you create the overall plan, the blueprint for getting the information you need. This involves formulating a hypothesis, an informed guess or assumption about the problem. Something like, we believe customers perceive our eco-friendly packaging as less protective.
And this hypothesis guides the study.
Yes. The whole study is designed to test it. Accepted or rejected hypotheses become the study's main conclusions.
And you mentioned reliability and validity earlier. That fits in here.
Absolutely critical at this stage. You need to design the research so it's reliable, meaning it produces almost identical results if you repeat it. And it must be valid, meaning it actually measures what it's supposed to measure, not something else. It's easy to ask questions that seem relevant but don't truly get to the heart of the issue.
Got it. Design the plan, make sure it's solid.
Then comes step 3, collecting data. The research design you just created tells you what types of data to collect and how to go about it. And here, there's a big fork in the road.
Primary versus secondary data.
You got it. You often start with secondary data. This is information that's already out there, compiled for some other purpose. Think internal sources like past sales reports, accounting records, customer feedback logs, or external sources like government publications. The U.S. Census is a goldmine for demographics.
Trade journals, online databases.
Periodicals, commercial services like AC Nielsen.
Yeah, it's usually cheaper and faster to access than collecting new data.
But sometimes it's not enough, or not specific enough. Right, that's when you need primary data. This is data you observe, record, or collect directly from respondents, specifically for your current investigation.
A custom job.
Exactly. It's tailored to your specific question. But it's usually more time-consuming, more expensive, and, frankly, more complex to do well.
And you can't talk to everyone, so you have to select a group.
Right, sampling.
Right.
Since it's usually impossible or impractical to investigate every single person in the population you're interested in, researchers select a representative sample. There are different ways to do this. Probability sampling means every element in the population has a known chance of being selected, like random sampling, where everyone has an equal chance.
Or stratified sampling.
Yes, where you divide the population into groups, say, by age, and then randomly sample within each group to ensure representation.
And the alternative
Is non-probability sampling. This is more subjective. There's no way to calculate the likelihood of any particular person being selected, like quota sampling, where you divide into groups and then just arbitrarily choose participants until you hit your target numbers. Less statistically robust, but sometimes necessary.
Okay, so once you have your sample, how do you actually collect that primary data? Surveys seem common.
Very common. Survey methods are a primary way to gather that data. The best method, mail, phone, online, in person, depends on the problem, the data needed, and your resources.
Getting people to actually participate seems like a challenge these days.
It really is. Response rates can be low. Mail surveys can cover wide areas cheaply but often get ignored. Telephone surveys used to be great for speed and building rapport, but
Caller ID, people ditching landlines.
exactly. Unlisted numbers, call screening, cell phones, it's much harder now. Though a telephone depth interview can still be useful for probing sensitive topics one-on-one.
What about face-to-face?
Personal interview surveys are still used. You have in-home, door-to-door interviews, though they're less common now, and shopping mall intercept interviews, which are convenient for getting quick opinions. Sometimes they even use on-site computer interviews.
But online must be huge now.
Oh, definitely. Online and social media surveys are very popular. Questionnaires via email or on a website. They offer quick responses, lower costs. Companies like Qualtrics make it pretty easy for organizations to build and deploy their own surveys.
And social media.
Social media is great for spotting trends, understanding needs, often at a low incremental cost. But representativeness can be an issue. Are the people commenting typical of your whole market? Maybe not.
You also hear about crowdsourcing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Basically outsourcing tasks like gathering opinions or even generating ideas to a large group, the crowd, through an open call online. It taps into collective intelligence.
No matter the method, the questions themselves have to be good.
Yeah, absolutely crucial. Questionnaire construction is an art and a science. Questions need to be clear, easy to understand, focused on a specific objective. You have to avoid leading questions, ambiguous wording, or asking things that are too personal or might bias the response. You can use open-ended questions, yes-no dichotomous questions, or multiple choice.
Okay, surveys are one way. What else?
Observation methods. Instead of asking, you just watch. Recording people's overt behaviors, like how they shop in a store or physical conditions or events, without direct interaction.
Like watching how people use a website.
Exactly. Or ethnographic techniques where researchers immerse themselves in the environment. It avoids issues of people saying one thing and doing another, but the results tend to be descriptive. You see what happens, but maybe not why.
Wow, lots of ways to gather data. What happens after it's collected?
Step 4. Interpreting research findings. This is where you make sense of it all. You take the raw data, display it often in tables or charts, and then analyze it. Statistical interpretation is key here, looking for what's typical, what deviates from the average, identifying patterns and relationships.
So turning numbers into insights.
Precisely. And careful interpretation is vital. You need to relate the findings back to the original problem and think about how they inform decision-making. It's easy to misinterpret data or see patterns that aren't really there.
And the final step.
Step 5. Reporting research findings. You have to communicate what you found. It involves preparing a clear, objective report that looks at whether the findings answer the research question and whether they support or negate your hypotheses. Usually it's a formal, written document. And researchers have to be really careful with their language to avoid bias or distortion, presenting the findings fairly so managers can make informed choices.
That whole process from defining the problem to reporting, it's quite involved.
It is, but necessary for making sound marketing decisions rather than just guessing.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Technology. You mentioned online surveys, but tech's impact seems much bigger than that now. It feels like it's making information more accessible than ever.
Oh, completely. Technology has revolutionized marketing information. Digital media especially has just dramatically enhanced how companies gather and respond to consumer feedback. The speed and volume are incredible.
So how do companies manage all this incoming information?
That's where marketing information systems, or MIS, come in. Think of an MIS as a framework, kind of like the company's marketing intelligence hub. It's designed for the day-to-day management and structuring of information that's gathered regularly from both inside and outside the company.
So it provides a continuous flow of data.
Exactly. Data on prices, advertising effectiveness, sales figures, competitor actions, distribution costs. It gives managers ongoing, almost real-time insight.
And what powers an MIS?
Databases are at the heart of it. These are collections of information organized for easy access and retrieval, usually via computer. They can hold everything from internal sales reports and customer service logs to external demographic data or economic indicators.
And customer relationship management fits in here. CRM.
Yes, CRM is a key application that relies heavily on databases. It uses techniques to identify different types of customers, figure out their value, deliver tailored messages, and track the relationship over time. It helps monitor things like customer retention costs and estimate the lifetime value of a customer. It's all about managing those individual relationships effectively.
I've also heard the term single source data. What's that?
That refers to information provided by a single firm that links a household's demographics and their actual purchases across different categories with their exposure to specific marketing efforts, like TV ads or coupons.
Wow, that sounds incredibly detailed. Complete picture of one household.
It can be, yes. Very powerful for understanding how marketing impacts actual buying behavior.
And then there's the elephant in the room, big data.
Right. You can't talk about marketing information today without talking about big data. We're talking about absolutely massive data files. They come from structured sources, like databases, but also unstructured sources, think social media posts, videos, sensor data. The sheer volume, velocity, and variety are immense.
And why is it so important for marketers?
Because you can analyze these huge data sets to spot patterns in consumption behavior, identify subtle trends, and even predict future buying behaviors in ways that just weren't possible with smaller, traditional data sets. You might uncover correlations you never expected.
But it sounds challenging too, just having the data isn't enough.
Not at all. The challenge for marketers is figuring out how to effectively use all these disparate pieces of data to create more targeted, more relevant strategies. It requires new tools, new skills.
And new ethical considerations, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. This is a huge one. Using big data brings up major questions about consumer privacy. Many consumers are, understandably, uncomfortable with their purchases, their browsing habits, even their locations being tracked so closely.
Like the example of banks tracking phone locations for fraud. Useful, but a bit creepy.
Exactly. It highlights the tension. Personalized services and security are great, but there are real worries about infringing on privacy or even potential discrimination based on the data collected. Who decides who is a valuable customer?
But that leads nicely into marketing analytics. Is that about making sense of all this data ethically and effectively?
In large part, yes. Marketing analytics uses tools and methods specifically to measure and interpret the effectiveness of a firm's marketing activities. Its primary goal is often to evaluate the return on investment, the ROI of different marketing strategies and campaigns, so you can make smart adjustments.
So taking the data and turning it into actionable intelligence about what's working and what's not.
Precisely. The process involves defining what you need to measure, collecting the relevant data, developing reporting capabilities, and then analyzing campaign performance.
And this is a growing field.
Hugely. It's a major focus in marketing research right now. The ultimate goal is to figure out how to develop better targeted, more efficient campaigns, and the impact can be significant. Research has actually shown that even a small increase in a company's marketing analytics capabilities can lead to a noticeable improvement in return on assets. We're talking potentially an 8% increase.
That's substantial. And is there a system that helps managers use these analytics for decisions?
Yes, that's where a marketing decision support system, or MDSS, comes in. Think of it as customized computer software that helps marketing managers anticipate the likely effects of certain decisions. It often incorporates analytics and modeling capabilities.
So like running simulations. What if we raise the price by 5%?
Exactly. It allows you to model different scenarios based on the data you have, turning that raw data and analysis into strategic foresight. It helps weigh options before committing resources.
Okay, so we've covered the research process, the data types, and now this whole layer of technology, MIS, databases, CRM, big data and analytics, MDSS. It's a lot.
It really is. The landscape has become incredibly complex, but also incredibly powerful.
Which brings us back to those ethical questions. And also, how does this all play out globally?
Good points. Beyond just the mechanics, there are significant ethical considerations in marketing research. Professional standards are crucial, especially as managers rely more heavily on this data for major decisions. Organizations like the Marketing Research Association have developed codes of conduct to guide practice.
And privacy is paramount.
It's a massive issue. Companies can buy and collect vast amounts of data, demographics, interests, online behavior, purchase history, sometimes very personal stuff. We need clear guidelines and transparency about how data is collected and used. The potential for misuse or discrimination, even unintentional, is real.
And what about doing research internationally? Does the 5-step process still apply?
The basic framework, yes, the 5 steps are pretty universal. But how you implement them, especially data collection, has to be modified significantly. You absolutely must account for sociocultural differences, economic conditions, political climates, legal regulations, technological access. All these vary hugely around the world.
So a survey that works in the US might completely fail in Japan or Brazil.
It absolutely could. Language barriers are just the start. Cultural norms around questioning, privacy expectations, access to technology all need to be considered to ensure the research is actually valid and reliable in that specific context.
So what's the best practice for international research?
Experts usually recommend a two-pronged approach. First, do a deep dive into secondary data. Really understand the international marketing environment you're entering. Then, for primary research, you absolutely need field research using methods adapted to the local culture. Often, this means employing local researchers.
People on the ground who understand the nuances.
Exactly. They know how to approach respondents appropriately in their own language, respecting cultural context. It's essential for getting meaningful, accurate data globally.
Wow. So we've really journeyed through the entire world of marketing research today, from, defining the problem, designing the study, collecting all that primary and secondary data, interpreting it, and finally reporting the findings. And we've seen how technology databases, big data analytics is just fundamentally changing how companies understand you, the customer.
It's a systematic process powered increasingly by sophisticated technology aimed at reducing uncertainty in decision-making. But as we've seen, it comes with significant responsibilities.
Which leads perfectly into our final provocative thought for you to ponder. As technology keeps getting better at allowing businesses to gather more and more deeply personal information about all of us, how do we as a society strike that balance? How do we balance the incredible power of data to create these amazing hyper-personalized experiences against the growing need for individual privacy and really clear ethical boundaries? What responsibility do businesses truly have when they hold so much data about our lives, our choices, our behaviors?
Something to think about. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep thinking critically about the information that shapes our world.